to be able to separate how you feel about someone from how someone makes you feel. Those are very different things. I may feel about a person that they are charismatic and adorable and intelligent and wise and fun, but they make me feel, or if they make me feel lonely and sad and anxious and stressed and questioning my value, that's the reality of my relationship. So you can think someone is a god, but if they make you feel like you're nothing, that's going to be your experience.
This week on the Shame Free Life podcast radio show, we're going to have a candid conversation concerning it's time to go and grow.
Today is about the power of you.
We can be whatever we dream.
You're locked into another episode of 15 Minutes of Shame. Each week, we'll help you rebuild your life one brick at a time by addressing real-life issues from a practical and biblical perspective.
I had to believe in myself like never before.
This is the Shame-Free Radio Show.
Finding the solution to become the greatest.
And now your host, minister, author, grief and trauma support specialist, Dr. Ronald Zion Roseborough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it.
Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are from coast to coast and from around the globe, from continent to continent. You are locked inside of another installment, live inside the Shame Free Life 15 Minutes of Shame podcast radio show. I am your host, Ronald Zion, and it's a pleasure to be back with you once again. And we are going to tackle this topic as it relates to it's time to go and grow once we pay some bills after these two quick commercial breaks. Have you ever felt alone and life is out of control? Perhaps like a sailboat at sea in the midst of a tsunami. Well, you're not alone. Here at the Shame Free Life, LLC, we offer services in trauma recovery, crisis intervention, and empowerment coaching. We operate in integrity, confidentiality, empathy with coaching ethics. Contact us at theshamefreelife.com or email us at contact@theshamefreelife.com. You may not be responsible for your injury, but you are responsible for your healing. Let us help you rebuild your life one brick at a time, because your life begins when you say so. Have you considered continuing your education? Or do you find yourself, like so many, sidetracked by life, fear, or maybe even excuses? Well, I've come to tell you that there is no perfect time than right now. Time is ticking away. So get your degree today. Rehoboth International Bible College is an accredited institution designed to meet your higher biblical education needs. Simply go to RehobothInternationalBibleCollege.com or call 866-235-0812 extension 0. You are an investment, and it is past time for you to reap the dividends. Rehoboth International Bible College. And we are back. It's time to go and grow. You know, I really believe that it's the will of God, the Most High, to bring us to a place of growing. But in order to grow, oftentimes we must go. Just take, for instance, if you go to your local big box store, Home Depot, Lowe's, etc., and you purchase a plant, and it's summertime, and so you water the plant, you irrigate the plant, but now the plant has outgrown the pot from the manufacturer. So what do we do in that instance? We must repot the plant or place the plant into the fertile soil of the ground. So that way that the plant will not be restricted in its growth, and that the root mechanism can go downward and far reaching. It can go out. It can grow out. Well, to grow out, oftentimes we have to go out of the familiar, go out of certain boxes and parameters that we find ourselves in. Perhaps you were born in, you were raised in. And so as we heard the introduction of a guy that I think is absolutely amazing, one of the people, Dr. Tamara Hill, first and foremost, from a place of clinical psychology, and Matthew Hussey, who's amazing in his own right. And there's so many others, too many to name right now. But the point of the matter is, in talking about toxic relationships, be it family, be it friends, etc., when it's time to grow, but having the audacity, the courage, and the wisdom to know that in order to grow, I have to go. I have to be repotted into something that is conducive to my mental, emotional, spiritual, social, financial, relational growth. Now, I'm not talking about individuals who have their own issues that they refuse to look into the mirror of reality, and they just want to get rid of everyone because they don't want to be accountable to no one.
God, today.
There are so many people out there, and I was one, that we will begin to shed people from our lives because we don't want anyone to challenge the mindset that we have that is self-destructive and self-limiting. We shed people or drop people. We disconnect from people because they serve as a sounding board of reason and righteousness to get us to now look inwardly, to bring us to a call of action that's beyond lip service, to make a change in our lives. And because we're not at a place that we want to change, because we are comfortable with our chains, that we will begin to shed these people from our lives, and we will begin to justify, condone, and rationalize disconnecting people that were in our lives for a reason, and it was for our good. But because we wanted to continue to travel down the road of immaturity and lack of accountability, we put them out. We told them, hey, you get out on this stop. It's over with us. I'm not talking about those people, again, in which I was one, because we need accountability. There's a scripture that says that in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. But where there is no counsel, the people fall. So it behooves us to have wise people around us to keep us from crashing and burning in life. But I'm talking about people who don't mind having those individuals around you, because you understand that I need the fortress and the safeguard of wisdom, and people who believe in me, people who will support me, but people who will be honest with me about me so that I can become a much better version of myself. I'm talking about people who are connected to others, be it family or friends, and this is definitely not limited to family, that it's time for you to grow, but you cannot grow until you go. Now, I want to take a look at a passage in scripture, which I think is a great teachable moment for us to dive into. There's actually two main scriptures that I want to look at and examine that serves as a foundation. Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 4. Now it reads, "Now the Lord had said to Abram, before his name was changed to Abraham. Now the Lord had said to Abram, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great." What is a name? What's the significance of a name? We name our people name their children all kinds of names. I mean, I met a Porsche, a Mercedes, Lexus, Legend. We name our children. I mean, all of these crazy names, but a name is very powerful. Back in the day, especially back in the biblical era, that when you name a child, that you are speaking to the destiny of that child. So therefore, I need a name to match your destiny or destination. But in a name, you will find it attached to the identity of a thing and the reputation of a thing. This is the reason why if you need, for instance, a laptop, when you go into your electronic store, Best Buy or other types of stores, that, hey, listen, I need a computer. Okay. Well, what type of computer are you looking for? A desktop? No, I'm looking for a laptop. Okay. Well, we need to step over here on the next aisle. Here are all our laptops, different manufacturers. What type of RAM are you looking for? Because you could identify what you needed by a name, the salesperson was able to now get you to where you needed to go to get it, because that item is associated with an identity, which is a name, laptop. So he said, God, Yahweh, to Abraham, that I will make your name, your identity, and your reputation that's attached to your destiny. I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. And in all the families of the earth, out of all of the families on this planet, shall be blessed. Verse 4. So Abram departed as the Lord Yahweh had said to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Now, I want us to note a couple of things, that Abraham was 75 years old. A time to say, you know what, if you haven't accomplished what you were supposed to accomplish by now, it's a little bit too late. But here we see that the Most High God, he operates in a different timeline than we do. As a matter of fact, he doesn't operate in a timeline that is earthly at all. He is yesterday, he is today, and he is tomorrow. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He operates in an eternal realm that is not governed nor sanctioned by time. Time is something that benefits us. Time is something that was given to us because of the fall of Adam, who was supposed to live eternal, he and Eve, but because of disobedience, now ushered in a thing that was never supposed to be in the first place, and that is time. So now we're in a rush. I don't have time to talk. I got to make this meeting. I don't have time to talk. I got to clock in. I don't have time to talk. I got to, schedule this post on social media. It's all about time. I mean, because we can't afford to lose time. Why? Because we're time conscious. But we're serving a most high God who is not moved or governed by what we are moved and governed by, and that is time. So here, Abram, at that time, received his marching orders when he was 75 years old. So wherever you are right now in life, whether you are 18, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50 and up, no. Whenever the eyes of your mind are enlightened by the season that you are right now, and God has given you the marching orders, it's never too late. It is never too late as long as you have breath in your body. It is never too late. And so Abraham, he followed the marching orders to get out of the place of familiarity. I need you to leave the comfort of your country. But Lot went with him. God did not tell Abraham to take Lot. He said, I need you to leave, to separate from your kinfolk, to separate from all that you have ever known. You were born here. You were raised here. This is all that you know. But I need you to leave. In other words, Abraham was at Home Depot or Lowe's plant that was now uprooted from its manufactured potting. And now that plant was removed from the store pot and now is being transplanted into larger territory. Even though that plant is used to the pot that it came from the manufacturer. But now that same plant, as Abraham, have got to now walk by faith and not by sight. Now going to have to be uprooted from the familiarity and the comfort and the family and all of the sights and the sounds of what you're used to, elementary, middle school, junior high, high school, college, hanging out in the bars, in the clubs, or in your church, wherever. I need to uproot you now from everything that you've ever known and to repot you, to transplant you into better soil that is conducive, check this out, to your growth, because you can no longer grow where you're planted.
God today.
And so it's very interesting when God would make a demand on us to uproot us from something that we are familiar with. Okay, well, where do I go? These are all the things that I'm going to do for you. I'm going to make you a great nation. I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make your reputation and identity great. And you're going to be a blessing. And I'll bless those who bless you. But on the flip side of those, I'm going to curse those who curse you. But I need you to go. Have you ever been in a place in life, and I'm going to get real personal on this podcast to a degree of what needs to be said and no more. Have you ever been a place in your life where you found yourself like Abraham? That there was a call to action, but you didn't know the rhyme or reason behind it. You were called to be uprooted, whether it's being uprooted from a career, a job, uprooted from a neighborhood, uprooted from a city, a state, uprooted from a relationship, uprooted from business connections that you have developed over the years, uprooted from a church. And I'm not talking about being uprooted because he was raising hell in the church and the pastor say, no, devil, you're going to get out of here in the name of Jesus.
God today.
But uprooted because you have outgrown that church, or uprooted because that church outgrew the presence of the Most High God and begin to elevate itself as being God besides God Yahweh. And God said, no, I need you to go in a different direction because they're going down. I'm trying to now elevate you to bring you up. We've all found ourselves in an Abrahamic situation, just like Abraham. And so I want to talk to you very briefly about the second scripture that I want to bring to mind. Now, we're still talking about in the spirit of Abraham because I think that this is pertinent. Now, from the first generation of being called out, which is Abraham, now he gave birth. Well, Sarah gave birth to their son Isaac. Now, Sarah had already transitioned and passed on, and Abraham was mourning the passing of his wife's transition. And so we see in chapter 24 of the book of Genesis, now we see that the same mandate was passed on to his son Isaac as it was to Abraham. And this is going to make sense. Now in verse 1, now Abraham was old, well advanced in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. Now, isn't that what he just said that he would do? In chapter 12, if you would just obey me, if I know it's crazy. I know what I'm asking you to do is absolutely insane to the average person. I know that you're scared. I know that you're concerned. I know how you are connected to that which is comfortable and that which is familiar. But can you please trust me? Just trust me on this. I got you. And we can see here that Yahweh, God, kept his end of the bargain as he always does. The enemy doesn't. People don't. But the Most High God, he always keeps his end of the bargain because he blessed him in not some things, not part of things, but in all things. Verse 2. So Abraham said to the oldest servant of his house, who ruled over all that he had. In other words, his attorney or his CPA. Please put your hand under my thigh and I will make you swear. So now we're going into a covenant agreement. I will make you swear by Yahweh, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell. It's time for I lost a wife, but now it's time for my son to gain a wife. What I don't want you to do is select a wife from these people around me who are not connected to the God I serve, Yahweh. Do we have an understanding? Verse 4, but you shall go to my country. Okay, the country he just left, the country that he was uprooted from. I want you to go back to my country and to my family and to take a wife for my son Isaac. Okay. And verse 5, and the servant said to him, perhaps the woman will not be willing to follow me to this land. Must I take your son back to the land from which you came? Verse 6, and Abraham said to him, beware. Now, when you hear beware, or you hear in the scriptures, whoa, that is to now take a second look or as Yeshua said, Jesus, verily, verily, I say unto you. In other words, take a good look, put on the brakes, stop what you're doing, cease, halt, because the next word out of my mouth is very important. Chill, stop, beware. that you do not take my son back there. Back where? To the place that God brought me from, uprooted me from. Okay, now, this doesn't make any sense. So, if God uprooted you, Abraham, from this place, didn't want you to be in this place, he wanted you to grow from this place, but it meant that you had to go from this place. Why in the world would you want your son to find a wife in this place? Because I submit to you that everyone in that particular place were not bad. There were some individuals that had their heart toward God, that walked in integrity, that walked in the matter of righteousness and character, sterling character. And so out of that small pool of people, I want you to find a wife for my son. And not here, where there is no character, but moreover, they are not connected to the Most High God, Yahweh, for my son. So this is very interesting to me because we see how serious the mandate was for Abraham and how it was passed down to his son Isaac. I want to talk to you very briefly about just 5 points, and we will be out of here. Why it's time to separate? Why it's time to separate from certain people, certain friends, certain mindsets, certain family members? Now, as I said earlier, I'm going to get a little personal. I had, I'm going to tell you about 2 specific instances. In both instances, I had a check on the inside, I believe from the Holy Spirit, and it was, don't go there. But I overstepped the boundary of reasoning and warning. The beware, the woe, don't do it. Because, hey, listen, I want to connect with these people and I just want to show some love to these people. But I felt an uneasiness about going to a high school reunion. And it was a reunion that took place at a particular residence, a home. I'm not really sure where. I can't even tell you now. It's so insignificant to me. But at that time, and this was around, I don't know, several years ago, 2005 maybe. And so I went to this cookout of individuals that graduated from the same high school. And I went there, and when I stepped on the ground, I knew that God was saying, get back in the car, turn the ignition, and drive away. Now I felt uneasy up until that time. Don't go. Don't do it. And I even had someone, as I was having a conversation with about this, hey, listen, I'm going to my family reunion. I mean, I'm not a family reunion. I'll get to that. I'm going to a high school get together reunion, cookout. You know, it should be fun. I don't think you should go. And that was God speaking again. Overstepped the boundary. So the moment that I drove up, stepped out of the car, my foot hit the premise, got this uneasiness, leave. I kept going. And I greeted, a couple of people in the front yard. Have you ever stepped into a room and you're not being hyper vigilant, you're not being psychotic, you're not being just over the top, you're not just imagining things, but you step into a room and you can tell that people were talking about you because, people were just talking. I mean, they were going back and forth. But the moment that you step in there, there's a hush over the room that wasn't there prior to your arrival. And in trying to please people but there was an overwhelming spirit of, we don't even want you here. I mean, who even told you about this? We don't even want you around. I mean, and so I just, being full of embarrassment, I walked through that particular living room area to go out to the back patio where they were grilling out and whatnot. And I spoke to the person who was on the grill and, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, not much. Hey, you want a beer? No, I'm good, man. Man, I ain't seen you in a long time. Yeah, man. You know, well, what's going on? Hey, we know this, that, and the other. Okay, man, it's good to see you. But I was so weighted down by the heavy burden of being in an atmosphere of disdain and displeasure and dishonor that I just said my goodbyes to the guy who was on the grill. Hey, listen, I'm out. Good to see you, man. I got to run an errand. And I just walked through that same room that was in a hush. As soon as I walked in, they were talking again. And as soon as I was walking out, or on my way out, the hush rose to the occasion again. And so I just walked out the front door and never looked back. There was another incident as far as a family reunion I went to, and some individuals I hadn't seen in years. And since I was a youth, some I knew, most I did not know. And so I'm walking into an atmosphere of a place that's very foreign to me. I don't know what to expect, but I'm going anyway. But I had that same feeling. Don't go. Don't do it. But I did it anyway. We could be so disobedient, right? And so I went inside the venue. It was out on a lake, and went into this venue, and I was greeted by a very nice woman, and she introduced herself. Hey, well, I'm your cousin. Oh, well, okay. Well, man, it's so good to meet you. I probably met you before, but I just don't remember. Please forgive me. Sometimes I can be bad with names, but if you tell me your name, I can line it up with your face. Now that we're cousins, hey, it's so good to meet you. Gave her a hug and whatnot. And I met some beautiful people there, very kind, but there were many that gave me the same type of energy, the same type of vibe as I received at the class reunion. We don't want you here. I mean, the look of disdain on their face was amazing. The dishonor that I received was amazing. Give somebody a shoulder hug, whatnot. And you ever gave somebody like a shoulder hug, especially like a female, I'm gonna give you a shoulder hug. I mean, if I don't know you like that, even if I, know you, I'm not gonna be like in your personal space like that. I kind of give you like one of them Deion Sanders, shoulder hug. And so, you ever gave somebody like a hug like that, and their energy, their vibe is like, listen, kind of get off me. And I'm like, all right, cool. But we supposed to be cousins. And the overall atmosphere was one of, it was so phony, it was so fake, it was so dishonorable. And so I just stayed there for a brief minute and I exited. So I say all that to say this, is that this is very fitting, not only for you, but for me, because I can identify with it. And when God puts someone in your life to serve as support, to show you genuine love, to encourage you, just like Barnabas was to Apostle Paul, Barnabas means son of encouragement, but also will put someone in your life like a prophet Nathan in the life of King David. Hey, listen, You dead wrong what you did in sleeping with this married woman, and you the king, and all these wives that you have. You sleeping with a married woman, you committed adultery. And on top of that, you murdered her husband. You dead wrong. To have someone like that in our lives, you're blessed. But if you have people who are toxic, and if you have people who are phony, if you have people who are counterfeit, if you have people who are nothing more than witches and warlocks in your life, and God has a purpose for you, and Yahweh wants to elevate you as an eagle, you cannot and will not fly with pigeons. Because pigeons don't fly at the latitude and the magnitude of an eagle. So you will receive a call to action to grow, but first you must be uprooted and go. I want to talk to you very briefly about 5 points of why it's time to separate. Number one, these people are still stuck in their past, and they want you to join them to prove that they are right about you. You know, it's something about people who are stuck in their past because they refuse to embrace the man or the woman in the mirror. And they're focusing on everyone else's business. They're focusing on everyone else's past. But I'm here to tell you that we all have a past. We have a past that we are proud of. We have a past that we are ashamed of. We have a past that we wish that we can hit the rewind button, not the pause button, but the rewind button, and do it all over again. But I tell you that God can use any chapter in your book of life for his glory and for your story.
God today.
We all have a past, but it's only those who are sociopaths and psychopaths that refuse to embrace the man and the woman in the mirror and look at their own wretched ways, look at their own wicked and evil dark hearts, and embrace the call to action to change their oneselves. They will rather focus on you, focus on your past and what they think they know, and many of them don't even know the half of your past, and it's none of their business in the first place, rather than focusing on themselves. See, it takes a lot of courage. It takes balls. It takes testicular fortitude to look into that mirror and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm great here and I'm great there, but right here, I'm just as wrong as two left shoes, as the old folks say. I need to get my whole life together right here in this area in my life. See, that takes a mature man or woman. That takes an introspection and a courage to execute. When we receive that revelation, not a revelation about somebody else, but a revelation about ourselves. But when you don't fit the image of who people think that you are, or who they have imagined you to be, or who they were told that you are, when you disrupt that image and they refuse to look in the mirror of change because they're stuck in the past, and you disrupt the image that they have of you concerning the past, it's time for you to separate. It's time for you to go so you can grow. When you experience that, oh yeah, it's deuces. Brings us to point 2. When it's time to separate from family, from friends, from whoever, they are secret saboteurs. They sabotage what you have going on. They are secret saboteurs that fly under the radar, under smiles, under drinks, under girls' night out, under, hey, my dude, what's going on with you tonight? Hey, not much, man. Let's go bowling. Let's go shoot some pool. Let's go hang out. See, they fly under the radar of that. Oh, listen, hey, they fly under the radar of church.
God today.
Oh, let's pray together. But they're not praying with you. They're not praying for you. They are praying on you. P-R-E-Y. These are saboteurs to try to sabotage what God is doing in your life. They're trying to sabotage your self-esteem. That took you so long, that took you a long time to now redevelop because of the injuries of trauma in your life. And now you're on a fast track to now rebuild your life one brick at a time. And they are there on the construction site of your life to not lend a hand to remove the rubbish, to remove the trash and the debris of the trauma that hit your life like a F5 tornado. They're not there to help level the land for the rebuilding process. They're not there to lend a hand when it comes to now build a foundation, a sturdy foundation, to add the framing and the sheathing, to help out with the electric and the plumbing and the roofing. They're not there to help you rebuild your life. They're there to help sabotage your life through jealousy, through envy, through backbiting, word curses, speaking curses. But remember what the Most High said in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, that I will bless those who bless you, those who come to help you rebuild your life, those that come to support you in helping you become a much better man, those who come to hold you accountable to your own inner madness because they see the value in you as a man. Hey, listen, bro. Now you going around, man, screwing all these women. Hey, listen, dude. Hey, homie, come in, man. Let's talk, man. I ain't talking about STDs as far as sexually transmitted disease. I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about spiritually transmitted disease. I'm talking about you being a disruption to everybody's life that you running into, and even your own life. Why you cheating on your wife, man? Let's talk about that. Hey, man, I ain't cheating. Bruh, I saw you talking to her, and I just stepped to her, and she said, yeah, y'all been dating for a minute. Does Jennifer know about that?
God today.
Do your children know about that? Okay, well, what about you? Sis, I mean, listen, what's going on with you and, your husband? Why are you talking to, old boy right here? Every time I clock out for lunch, I mean, y'all having lunch together, but you don't have that. You don't go out to lunch with your man, but you're going out with him more. We need those people. But he says, I will bless those who bless you, who ride like that in your life, but I will also curse those who curse you, those who come to sabotage your purpose and your destiny for the glory of the Most High. Brings us to point 3. It's time to separate when they are threatened by your pursuit of purpose. You have your eyes fixed on purpose, just like Joseph and his brothers. They were jealous of him, and they threw him in a pit. He was sold into slavery. From slavery, he was thrown in prison unjustly for a crime that he didn't commit in attempting to, quote unquote, rape Potiphar's wife, who was after him. And now this man is committed, charged, sentenced, convicted to prison unjustly. All because he went through all of this, we understand, for the glory. We understand it was for a purpose. But you will have individuals around you that are threatened by your greatness. They are threatened by your excellence. They are threatened by your professionalism. They are threatened because of the way that you speak. They are threatened because of the way that you look. They are threatened because you have the audacity, regardless of growing up in poverty, to break that spirit of poverty off of you by rolling up your sleeves and going to work to increase your scope of wealth. You have a purpose, and these people have a problem with that. Number 4, when it's time to leave, because God is calling you to a place beyond familiarity and comfort. Oh my God. God is calling us to a place beyond familiarity, beyond comfort. I know that you grew up with them. I know they were your besties. I know that's your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, your whoever. But it's time for you to separate. I know that's you think it's your ride or die, but you're going to die if you continue to ride with them.
God, today.
It is time for you to go, and it is time for you to grow and to come out. I'm calling you out. I am moving you out. I'm uprooting you out of familiarity and the comfortability of it. You know, we will stay where we are until you are no more on this planet. When time is ticking, when the clock is ticking, concerning life, concerning happiness, concerning joy, concerning purpose, concerning destiny, concerning being to get blessed by the Most High Yahweh, to be a blessing to others. Do you realize that there are people that are assigned to you and I? And while you are wasting your time on people who would just tolerate you and not celebrate you because they don't appreciate you, you are wasting valuable time on your biological clock. And it's a trick of Satan when there are people that are assigned to you. There's a testimony on the inside of you that they need. There's encouragement that you have that they need. There is a story of victory that they need to hear. There is a fortification that's on the inside of you that they have not seen. There is something on the inside of you that they can profit from. And why in the world will we continue to give the best of us to the worst of others?
God, today.
And we wonder why we are so impoverished, why we walk in a spirit of spiritual poverty, mental poverty, emotional poverty, relational poverty, social poverty, financial poverty. We're just walking in a realm of a dark cloud of poverty because you are giving your strength, you are giving your virtue, you are giving your value to people that don't deserve it. And there are people that are assigned to you that do deserve it, and they're waiting on you to arise to the occasion.
God, today.
God is calling us beyond a place of familiarity and comfortability. See, that's what I love about the little eagles is that the mother eagle, she will ruffle the nest that was so comfortable for the little baby. But now it's time for that baby eagle to learn to fly. It's time for that baby bird to take flight. And so the mother will ruffle and agitate the nest. That now that nest, there was a Tempur-Pedic mattress that was built for comfort. Now it becomes a Tempur-Pedic mattress that's built for torture, to agitate, to move us out of the nest into a place of our purpose, and that's the call of action. But it takes faith to do this. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And we have to trust in the Lord, Yahweh, with all our heart, and lean not to our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct our path. In 2 Chronicles 5 and 7, for we walk by faith and not by sight. When we're being called to a new place, it's so unfamiliar. It's the fear of the unknown. It takes a faith walk. We cannot do it without walking by faith. But you got faith to go into to open up your car and turn the ignition and drive down the street and not fear getting hit and dying in a car crash. We have faith. You have faith to open up your refrigerator and to get you a glass of water or whatever your choice of beverage is or whatever your choice of food is, that it's there. You have faith to sit down in the chair knowing that it has enough fortitude to uphold you and to hold you and not collapse, that you would be injured. So we have to have faith in the Most High. And number 5, the final point. This is your season to detox. Why you've got to separate from these folks? Why you've got to separate from these witches and wizards? These saboteurs? Because this is your season to detox. The removal of inner issues from childhood trauma, mental strongholds that have developed. And so now we see ourselves as others who don't like us see us. Isn't that what in Numbers, I believe, chapter 13, when the children of Israel were going into the promised land and they sent out spies. Joshua sent out spies in the land, and they saw the Nephilim. They saw the descendants of the fallen angels, 20 and 30 and 50 feet high giants. And they said, oh, my God, ain't nowhere in the world we going in there. I mean, they will eat us alive, literally eat us. They said, we look like grasshoppers in their eyes. Now, how do you know how can you speak for the Nephilim? No, what you meant to say is that we look like grasshoppers in our own eyes compared to them. Oftentimes, because of our trauma, because of being connected with dysfunctional and toxic people that see no value in us, that have a disdain for us, we will begin to see ourselves as they see us and develop a mental stronghold. And the promised land, your promised land, what you've been praying for, is waiting for you to go in to inhabit. And God say, if you would just participate and walk by faith, I will drive them out, and I will give you a supernatural strength to kill every giant in your way that's squatting on your inheritance, that's squatting on your blessings. They belong to you. And he wants to remove the Egyptian slave mindset from us in the pit stop of your wilderness. I want to tell you today that wherever you are, if you're in the wilderness right now, that's not your final abode. Oh, no, baby. That wilderness is not your final abode. It ain't nothing but a pit stop for you before you get to the promised land that the Most High Yahweh promised you. It's nothing more than a pit stop to filter out the Egypt mentality, the slave mindset. I can't succeed. I can't get wealthy because I'm black, man. The white man hold me back. Man, I can't succeed, because I get all these folks around. I can't succeed because, I'm white and I never had nobody I was never born with a silver gold spoon in my mouth, and I never had nobody in real estate. I mean, and I can't get any kind of help like some of these black folks can get. Excuses. That slave mind. There's nowhere in the world that I can succeed with all these children. I mean, and I'm not married. And a slave mind. A slave mind. It's no way I can succeed because, I got a prison record. I've been a slave mind. It's no way I can succeed because, I was hooked on drugs for 10 years and I've been clean for 15 years, but nobody would trust me to think I'm going to relapse. A slave mind. God wants to filter us from the slave mind, the Egyptian mindset that says that you cannot when you can, and you will with courage. So the wilderness serves as a sifting place to sift out that which is unprofitable and to keep that which is profitable, to move you to the place of profitability in your promised land.
God today.
And to add to number 5, breaking all trauma bonds. Sometimes we can become a participant in establishing a love relationship with our trauma. A trauma bond is established, and it's also known, a part of that, the Stockholm syndrome, that you will begin to feel sorry for the one who is beating you. You'll feel sorry for the one who is violating you. You'll feel sorry for the one who is disrespecting and dishonoring you. And you will begin to bond to that to that person, and the glue is that trauma. That person is traumatized, who is the victim, and that purpose is the person is traumatized, who is the victimizer. So both the victimizer and the victim are traumatized, and they come together to form this relationship, this consensual relationship, but through the glue of trauma. And oftentimes we become a participant in bonding to the trauma when God is trying to loose us from the trauma. So let's go through the 5 steps again. When it's time to separate, they are stuck in their past, and they want you to join them to prove that they are right about you. Number 2, they are secret saboteurs. Number 3, they are threatened by your past. They are threatened by your pursuit of purpose. Number 4, God is calling you to a place beyond familiarity and comfort. And finally, number 5, this is your season to detox. This is why you must get from those people. But it takes a lot of dog in you to do it. You've got to have a lot of dog in you to say, you know what? Enough is enough. If this blessed you, I want you to share it with someone. And if you need trauma recovery coaching, this is what we specialize in at the Shame Free Life: one-on-one coaching, group coaching. We also have online tools that you can download that will help you, that will assist you in being your community around you, to hold you accountable, because we see the value in you, because there's no going back. You can't go back to what you called from and what you called out of. So definitely go to the website, theshamefreelife.com, theshamefreelife.com. And as I always say, and I will continue to say, that your life begins when you say so. Until next time, peace, blessings, shalom.
Thank you for joining us on the Shame Free Life Radio Show. For 15 minutes of shame, follow us on IG and Twitter at Shame Free Life. For information on promoting your business with us, contact us at theshamefreelife@gmail.com. Until next time, your life begins when you say so.